Mindset and financial planning, they're two very key components of what we do as real estate investors. But a lot of people think the technical aspects of investing are what's so important. There's a lot of other parts to being successful. And that's what we're going to talk about today on the Sub2Deals Show. Hey, Sub2ers, welcome to this episode of the Sub2Deals Show, where we talk about all things subject to. Gosh, today we're going to talk about mindset and financial planning, which is a super important part of what we do. It's really overlooked a lot. We get really focused as investors on learning a method of buying houses or talking to sellers and doing all of those things that we have to do. But there are a lot of other pieces to why some people are successful and why some aren't. And those are some of the things we're going to talk about today. I'd like to take just a second to remind you guys, if you want some of the very best training on creative finance and Sub2, to check us out. Our YouTube channel is sub2tv.com. We release new videos almost every day over there. If you want to learn subject to and creative finance, we'll certainly teach you how to do that. If you're interested in ongoing training, whether it's coaching or products that'll teach you how to talk to sellers, how to buy subject to, sell with lease option or seller financing, check us out at Sub2University.com. So get over there and check that out. So we're going to bring our guest in. We're fortunate today. We've got Sarah Carlson here. She is a thought leader, writer, and financial planner. She helps apprehensive people work toward the goal of living their very best lives. She's also the author. She just released a book, Facing Financial Fears, 8 Steps to Financial Freedom for Women. So we want to welcome her today. Hey, Sarah, how are you?
Hi, William. Thank you so much for having me. I'm excited to be here.
Yeah, man, we're excited to have you on. Looking really forward to talking to you about this. As I said earlier, we get so focused on the technical aspects of real estate investing and creating wealth that way. We don't really think too much about all the other pieces that are important to success. So I know you're an expert. You're here today. Tell everybody about yourself and how you got to be a financial and mindset expert.
Yeah, thank you. My name is Sarah Carlson. I'm the founder of Fulcrum Financial Group and started my career over 30 years ago. Started Fulcrum Financial Group 25 years ago. Most recently wrote Facing Financial Fears, 8 Steps to Financial Freedom for Women. And I wrote that book because of all the profound positive impact I saw apprehensive people make in their lives once they had good advice and making some changes to help them live their best lives. So there's a difference between being wealthy and being rich. And wealthy has more to do with how your money supports you. The one thing you can't make more of is time and energy. So just accumulating to accumulate can end up really being challenging. But if your money can serve you and help you lift you up and help you live the life you want, well, then it's fantastic to have a partnership with money and in real estate investing.
Yeah, I love that, the difference in being rich and being wealthy, because, especially after you get around a certain group of people, you can know a ton of very wealthy people that aren't very happy. There's more to it than just the accumulation of stuff. What do you think the difference is in those people?
Yeah, you're absolutely right. I've met many people that have a lot of stuff, whether that's cars, things, physical. They look good, but they're emotionally bankrupt. Having money should create opportunities. Having a balance of having the things you want, but also being able to spend time and energy with the people you care about, and having the opportunity to have experiences that you want, because you never know when things can change. And it's a balance. A lot of times you're going to live a lot longer than you think you will. So it's not that you got to live completely for
Right.
today, but you do need to be thoughtful. And that's where a financial planner can help you map out a plan. So someone like myself, that's a fiduciary, whatever my clients' goals are, I have the skills and expertise and tools that can help them consider what's around the corner and ideally put together a plan so they do well in a good market and bad market.
Mhm. What, let's take someone. Okay, let's just use me as an example. If you look back at my history, I quit school in the ninth grade. I was born in Mississippi, small town. Nothing in my history that ever said that I would be a successful real estate investor. And I've been doing that now for 23 years. I had a job. I actually worked myself up to a pretty decent job. I made about 60,000 a year as a restaurant district manager. So I worked a lot of hours. Uh, Middle class life, but was just miserable because I worked all the time, didn't have time to enjoy anything. And bought an old Carlton Sheets course off late night TV and started buying houses. Quit my job a year later, and I've got to do so many things now. We were talking before we came on the air today, and I was talking about just traveling for the last year and a half, just checking out different places and doing stuff. I've just had so many opportunities now to enjoy my life. But if a person that's new to wealth, I mean, it's almost a cliche. Someone wins the lottery and they're broke 2 years later. What's one of the first things you would tell somebody like me if they come to you, they've never had a bunch of money, they got successful, they have money coming in? What are one of the first things that they need to do to think about financial planning and to plan for the future and what to do with that money so they're not broke a few years later?
Right. Well, you're a good example, William, of living the American dream, right? You're a good example of how hard work pays off.
Right.
And that we live in an amazing country that allows entrepreneurs like yourself to try and then pursue things that give you passion. So you found a way to be an entrepreneur with something that gives you lift. I mean, so it's the journey. It's not the destination. It's not like a race. You get to the finish line and boom, it's over. No, you have discovered it, and it is discovering, doing a craft, a trade, a business that you find reward in. So you're working, and probably a lot of the things you're doing in your work doesn't feel like work because you're passionate about it. And it helps to provide that cash flow and income so you and your wife can live the adventure. We talked about you doing all that travel. I mean, how wonderful. You're living proof of how to do it right.
Mhm.
To suddenly win the lottery and or go to Vegas and win a lot of money, statistically those people don't keep it,
Mhm.
because money problems aren't about money.
Right.
It's about behavior, and it's
Mhm.
about mindset. And rather than think that money's going to buy you happiness, it doesn't buy you happiness. Certainly having a nice bank account and
Mhm.
options to spend that money will put a smile on your face, but it's not going to make you happy. You have to have a game plan for that. And wealth isn't just about your bank account or the car you drive or the
Mhm.
clothes you wear or the house you live in. It's really what's your spirituality? What's
Mhm.
your relationships? What's your relationship like yourself? I
Mhm.
have a belief that the way you treat your money is actually a reflection of how you feel about yourself.
Mhm. Okay. All right. I know you said something. I was reading your bio, and you were talking about the thing people think about. The saying, "Money doesn't bring happiness," but it can make your life happier. And I think it's a quote of Oprah Winfrey's when she said, "Money money doesn't solve all your problems, but it's a lot easier to cry about your problems in a limo than on a bicycle. I think that was her. Maybe not her, but for some reason I'm thinking that's her that said that. So, money doesn't solve your problems, but it certainly can make your life easier.
It does. However, I also have met many people that have millions and millions,
Mm-hmm.
and they're still
Right.
fearful. One of the challenges is it's called bag lady syndrome,
Mm-hmm.
where you have financially successful people that have lots of options, but they're fearful that they'll lose it all or they'll make
Mm-hmm.
a bad decision, and
Right.
there's shame around it, so they're
Mm-hmm.
not able to enjoy it.
Mm-hmm.
And a lot of my financial planning practice, certainly with clients that have been with us a long time, I spend a lot of coaching them to getting them to release that money, right? Do
Mm-hmm.
things to educate their
Right.
grandchildren, take those trips,
Mm-hmm.
because whether you live to be 24 or 104, life's too short, and
Mm-hmm.
you do want to plan for the future because you will live most likely longer than you think. But
Right.
you need to enjoy the ride, because you never know. We're all just one medical event away from not being able to do the things we enjoy now.
Right, for sure. So, in your experience, and I know you've been doing this for 30 years, you said. So, in
Mhm.
your experience, what is one of the biggest money mindset changes people can make?
Yeah, the important thing, and like especially now with what's going on in the markets, there's a lot of fear out there,
Hmm.
and people need to realize that real wealth is made during recessions and depressions. They're
Right.
not made during growth periods. I mean, you feel good when your real estate prices go up, your 401k prices go up, but if you're all booing up together, that's not where you really get ahead. It's when things are a little bit tougher to borrow money, to find the right investment. That's when real wealth is made, because the
Hmm.
people that have been strategic and thoughtful with their decisions tend to really get some great deals.
Hmm. Okay. So, now that there's uncertainty, is the time that you need to be looking for deals and doing things. We talk about this all the time in the investing industry, that during the boom, everybody wants to be an investor. Everybody wants to get the real estate license. Everybody wants to get in it, but prices are going up. It's hard to get deals and that sort of thing. But when the market changes, all of a sudden people start getting out of it. That's the time to go in and make the deals because the competition's gone.
Right. It's people. I call it OPM, other people's money.
Hmm.
It can, if you're not careful in a bad market, it can bite you. And certainly, someone like Dave Ramsey's built a career
Hmm.
on that. It have to be thoughtful. So
Hmm.
you can put together a bulletproof plan. It does
Hmm.
mean you have to be thoughtful with your different pools of money.
Right.
I'm a big advocate of not using your long-term money to solve a short-term money problem.
Hmm.
To stay out of things like credit card debt, that is an easy way to go broke
Right.
fast if you're paying
Hmm.
24 and 30% to a credit card company.
Hmm.
But when real estate investing, there's so many creative things that you can do in finding an opportunity where it ends up being a win for you, a win for the seller, and you're able to put together a package that get you both to your goals.
Right. So I'm curious now, you brought up Dave Ramsey. So, I mean, I follow Dave Ramsey too, and I don't agree with everything he says. Okay. He is super, super cautious. Now, I believe his followers typically just someone has to give them a plan they can just follow, because they don't make the best decisions maybe in a lot of cases. But do you share his belief about credit cards and about debt?
Well, I do. I have seen people get into trouble with debt. And I
Mhm.
think the more you can have a good relationship with money, the better off you're going to be at
Mhm.
having options when things pull back, like
Right.
now.
Mhm.
So, I having a lot of debt can become a huge sucking
Mhm.
sound for
Right.
someone that's scrambling. And so right now we're in a time of inflationary period, and there's a lot of things, everything's going up, from
Mhm.
energy to food,
Right.
to delivery. You're going to have to make some choices.
Mhm.
And if you end up owning something that is hard for you to make a payment, I mean, in 2008, that was a domino effect of people, needing to default on loans.
Mhm.
That can set up some pretty tough trends. So, to your answer, I mean, I think Dave has a lot of good points. If you
Mhm.
can do things and consume debt responsibly, that
Mhm.
would be a good thing for
Right.
anyone.
Well, I'll give you an example of how things work for most investors. Dave says don't buy an investment property until you can pay cash for it. And realistically, if the median price of a home in the United States, of course, has gone up drastically in the last couple of years, but if the median price for a home in the United States is $400,000, for the average person to save $400,000 to buy a rental property, that seems like an unattainable goal for most people. And for a lot of people, it probably is. But I can go out and I can buy 20, 30 of those houses this year. And our way of doing things is called Sub2. We take over debt. In other words, Sarah, if you had bought a house last year and maybe you're getting a divorce this year, or some life thing happened to you and you couldn't make your payments, that house isn't so important to you anymore. You got other stuff going on. And I might approach you and say, well, Sarah, I can write you a check for some cash to move. I can take over your debt and use that property with seller financing or rental property or whatever. So I'm not even creating my own debt, but I'm leveraging debt that's already in place. So I can buy as many houses this year as I want. But Dave says debt is bad. Do you think there's anything like good debt, leverage debt that you use to create income?
In this market, I don't know too many people that could afford to pay real estate without going into debt.
Mm-hmm.
Certainly, when interest rates were so low, that was made it very attractive to borrow and buy
Mm-hmm.
something. Now, in the last 10 months,
Right.
rates have, more than tripled. It's
Right.
not so inexpensive to do that. And there's certainly a lot of people that are in real estate, like their primary houses, and they can't afford to move right now because they're
Mm-hmm.
locked into a 2% loan. And for them to move, they'd have to move to a 7% loan. So it really comes down to how the cash flow works out and the
Mm-hmm.
reliability and what is that cash flow tied to. So
Right.
if your cash flow is tied to your renter, what's the commitment and contract to that renter would be
Mm-hmm.
a reasonable thing to consider.
Mm-hmm. So, in your opinion, there is some debt that could be good debt.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know very many people that could seriously just write a
Right.
check for
Right.
real estate and buy houses. I mean,
Right.
there's very few. I mean, most really successful people. I mean, it's fun to be curious. How did they get their wealth?
Mm-hmm.
I Most of them, all the ones I know, did it just the way you did, William.
Mm-hmm.
Working hard, finding something that gave them lift, and something that they were when they took on risk, it was a calculated risk with knowledge and understanding the numbers,
Right.
and then in it for the long term.
Mm-hmm.
Because if you have things covered, you're not going to end up having that domino effect.
Mm-hmm. Okay, well let's talk about your book for a second. I know you just released a book, Facing Financial Fears: 8 Ways to for Women to Face Financial Fears. In your book, you talk about mindset helping with adversity and how you have personal experience with that. So, you want to share some of that with us?
Yeah, well, I certainly have a lot of experience working with others, and I myself have certainly gone through a lot of change. I had a life altering accident when I was a young mother.
Mhm.
I'm a mother of two sets of twins. My four children were all under the age of 5 when it happened. I was on a business trip and hit by a hit and run by a car. So I went from being the provider of my family and the glue to suddenly being the special needs person. So that certainly gave me a level of perspective and life experience that I would never want anyone else to go through. But it certainly helped me be a better planner, and I'm thankful for that life experience. So I spent 3 years being rebuilt, and yeah, just a lot of incredible lessons. That also gave way to me realizing the relationship I was in. My marriage was not what I thought it was, and then that led to going through a divorce. So I certainly have a lot of life experience that
Mhm.
has made me a better advisor when helping my clients navigate difficult decisions.
Right. Okay. Now, your service, I know I looked your company up online, Fulcrum Financial Group. That's
Yes.
your company. Do you guys? And I know your book is specific to women, but you offer financial planning and services to everyone, right? Guys can come see you too. you, you'll help them
Of
too.
course. Yes. Yeah. In fact, uh, facing financial fears is
Mhm.
very applicable to men and
Right.
women.
I got you.
I target women because there's for many women that I've met over the years, there's been some hangups and shame
Hmm.
associated with women, and I want to bring femininity back to finances.
Hmm.
Money should lift you up and
Right.
help you on your life journey. In our practice, we have one commonality with the people we help. We help
Hmm.
really nice people,
Hmm.
and
Right.
we've helped ordinary people live extraordinary lives through us planning. And most of our clients have been with us for years, and
Hmm.
we have the capacity to grow. My business partner, my back office is LPL Financial. They're
Hmm.
the largest independent broker dealer in the country, and just been a tremendous partner to help us take care of our clients. There's very few large companies that help all pocketbooks.
Hmm.
Most money managers really just cater to the ultra rich,
Right.
and LPL really helps with the mass affluent.
Awesome. So, I notice, and I guess this is true in all business, but I'm of course in real estate investing, so I notice it more. That there aren't as many women, of course, as there are men in real estate investing. There's a lot more than there were a few years ago when I got started, but I guess it's that way in general. Why do you feel like women in particular hold themselves back from going out and just grabbing the financial brass ring or gold ring or whatever? What holds them back? Where men just seems to go out there and jump all over.
Yeah, I think it's a complex issue. I think some of it's the way we were raised, the role models we have in our family. It wasn't that long ago that Title IX's only been around 50 years, and right before that, women couldn't even have their own checking account, their own
Mhm.
savings account. So having opportunities with money for women has not been around that long. There's also, as women, we tend to prioritize our children, our
Mhm.
partners, our boss, our clients. We always think we're going to have more time, more resources to take care of
Mhm.
ourselves. And so we tend to think, well, oh, we'll do it tomorrow. And that tomorrow, when tomorrow comes, we've run out of
Mhm.
time. So
Right.
I'm hoping through Facing Financial Fears, it will be a wake up call. It's an easy read. It's a whimsical read of stories and exercises and tools. It's trending very well on
Mhm.
Amazon, and the feedback I'm getting is people are choosing to take action.
Right.
It doesn't take a big step to make a
Mhm.
profound difference in your future. You can start at any age and stage.
Right. Uh, you talk about having time. You've mentioned that a couple of times now, and I know that's so true. I can remember very clearly when I was in my 20s and I would get invited out to these things, these dinners they'd have at a steakhouse. Come, we'll buy you a free steak. You listen to this presentation. And they would talk about retirement and how you have to start now. You need to start now. And I was in my 20s and I thought, oh man, I got a million years till retirement age. And I just turned 60 in May. And I'm thinking, man, I'm old now. And it seems like that was just yesterday. Uh, what what's your opinion on how much people should be investing to be ready for their retirement?
Right. When I tell people this, when their eyes usually pop out of their head when they ask me for general guidelines of how
Mhm.
much they should save.
Right.
Yet when I mention it, I'm always amazed at how many of them get to that goal. But I
Mhm.
recommend that people strive to save 15% of what they make for their long-term goals,
Mhm.
like retirement,
Right.
and 15% for their shorter-term goals.
Right.
So 30%.
30%. And gosh, and when things are going on, like what's happening in the marketplace right now, and gas is $4 a gallon and all the prices are going, people are like, man, there's no way that I can save 30% of what I make. What do you do to make that a reality? How do you make that happen?
Well, it's one step at a time.
Mhm.
So when people will tell me I don't have any extra money to
Mhm.
spend, and yet they have beautiful acrylic nails,
Mhm.
those are very expensive to
Right.
maintain, or they have, beauty lashes. Those are, we all make choices with how
Right.
we spend our money. So in order to get to a 30%, maybe for you it's putting $10 a week in a jar.
Mhm.
It's all about building up habits and
Mhm.
then realizing the benefit of that new habit that you're establishing.
Mhm.
So it's the behavior. You can behave your way towards financial security.
Right.
Also, if you work for an employer that has a retirement plan, that retirement plan may have some kind of matching money. They may put away money to help encourage you to save for yourself.
Mhm.
If you don't participate in that plan, you are just throwing away money, free money. You're giving it up. So it's possible for you to earn $1 and in a retirement plan, put the full dollar towards your future instead of getting taxed and taking 70 cents home.
Mhm.
And if your employer matches, like let's just say hypothetically, matches 50 cents on the dollar, you could have $1.50 towards your retirement or 70 cents in your pocket.
Mhm.
That's
Right.
a way to, so it's about working and thinking about working smarter, not
Right.
harder.
Exactly. We say that all the time, and that's so many things. So now, obviously, I'm a real estate guy. I'm looking for deals on real estate, but as just an across the board financial expert and planner, there of course there's probably a bunch of other things out there. Why don't you tell us what you think are the things that people need to be looking to invest in right now for their financial future?
I think right now with this inflationary period, if you can stay out of credit card debt, that's going to be a good thing.
Mhm.
When you overspend going into the holiday season, it's easy to get emotional with those purchases. So I recommend people have a plan ahead of time for
Mhm.
making purchases. It will help you stick to what you've set out to buy and not getting caught up in impulse purchases.
Mhm.
Second, an emergency fund. Everyone should have an emergency fund, even if it's not making any money. Ideally, in the perfect world, 3 to 6 months worth of living expenses.
Mhm.
And that's just for the what if. What if the
Right.
heater goes out and you have to pay for someone to come on the weekend to fix it? What if you break an arm and you have to meet your medical deductible? That's
Mhm.
just prudent to treat yourself as the bank and not have to charge that on a credit card.
Mhm.
And then thirdly, to look at what goals you have in life and actually start to think about what are your destinations. Do you want to own a house?
Mhm.
Where do you want to live? What kind of investment do you want to make in maybe your education, your skill
Mhm.
set?
Right.
um, so many people take more time to plan a vacation than they do to even plan their retirement.
Right. That's absolutely right. I mean, you can spend weeks planning this big vacation that you're going to take later this year, but I never gave much thought to what I would do when I retired. It was more of a, I think most people feel like they're going to work until they just drop, or until they're forced to retire if they're in that kind of career where they have to retire at a certain age, and then they're going to be a greeter at Walmart and try to live on Social Security, and that's a sad prospect, really.
It really is. I mean, I
Mhm.
don't think anyone would want to have to work. And
Right.
rather than calling it retirement, because you're right, there's so many things you can do. And if you're passionate about what you're doing,
Mhm.
you're not necessarily going to just stop it. It's more about financial independence,
Yeah.
getting to a point where your investments are working just as hard as you do and you have options. So when you take that trip and vacation, you have the ability to pay for all those tickets and and hotel rooms before you leave.
Mhm.
That you have the options to spend the time you want to spend with the people you want to spend it with, and where you want to spend it. Choice is important.
Right. Okay, Sarah, anyone that has questions for you or would like to schedule a consultation with you or talk to you can reach you at fulcrumfinancialgroup.com. Is
They
that
sure
good?
can. I would
Okay.
be happy to be of service.
Okay.
And yes, and the book is available on Amazon website of Facing Financial Fears with an
Right.
S.com.
Okay.
And
Great.
yeah, let me know how I can help.
Okay. And okay, so a lot of great information here. Any final thoughts for everyone you want to leave everybody here with today?
Yeah, I would want your viewers and listeners to realize that they are worth it. They
Mhm.
are worth having their dreams, their goals come through, and the American dream is alive and well. And William, you are such a good example of living your best life. Here you are, 60, you look like you're 30. You've got this great rockin' real estate investment career. I would like to think I'm living my best life too. I'm just passionate about helping people get to their financial goals, and I find it all so interesting and really look forward to being of service to your viewers.
Okay, great message and great information, Sarah. Hey, we appreciate you so much for coming on today and sharing with everybody, and get everybody to go check out your book and check you guys out at fulcrumfinancialgroup.com. So thanks so much for being here.
Great. Thank you.
Thank you. Okay, guys, that is it for this episode of the Sub2Deals Show. We hope you enjoyed it. Check us out at sub2tv.com and sub2university.com. So until next show, get out there, talk some sellers, plan for your retirement, and buy some houses.